You got good clapping hands.
Thanks, man. Wow, I'm impressed.
I just looked you too deep in the eye there for a second. Hey, you got real good clapping hands.
Them some good clapping hands there, boy.
I think that's the note of the starting. What is up? Good to see. Good to be. Vibe Union, IRL, Flesh Vehicles, Unite.
Yep.
How are we doing out here?
Well, I'm in shock because I was convinced that you guys were just cyber beings. Now being in the same place, it's like,
Yeah.
what?
It's quite bizarre.
Yeah.
It's weird seeing people and then remembering that it's been 8 months since you've seen one of your closest mates. That's so bizarre.
Yeah.
But here we are. Hello. How you going?
Hey.
You all right?
How you going?
Hey, Dilly, you all right?
It's so good.
You all right?
It's not easy. It's not right. You know? Anyway, look, before we get this all pumping and stumping and stuff, I'd firstly like to acknowledge, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, that we are recording this podcast on. They're the traditional custodians. I'd also like to pay respects to the elders, both past, present, emerging. This land was never ceded. So here we are, Vibe Union, back at it, full addicts of it. The name's Dave Dilly. I'm going to try and be the MC. It's been a bit of a back and forth. It's been a roller coaster between Rhath and yours truly over here. MQ's taken, MQ's normally the boss MC, but he's taken a little step back because, he's got other cards to play, other hands to play with that MC card, I feel.
I just see that there's people doing it incredibly well, and I don't want to get in the way of a good thing.
Right. Well, I mean, that's a good mentality to have.
That's why you were an amazing MC.
Right.
You're so ready with those compliments.
Yes.
It's all it takes.
I really struggle to compliment people around me.
That's what MC stands for, Master Complimenter.
I did not know that.
For some people, it's Master Condescender. For me, in World of Warcraft, it's mind control. So.
Oh, okay.
What's your MC
Anyways.
stats?
I'm not a shadow priest, so I don't really mind control too much. I'm more of a holy paladin, a warrior of the light.
Oh,
The few listeners that we do have are slowly dwindling with every passing second.
Oh, music, World of Warcraft, gone.
Well, I feel
Bye.
like we hit it in episode 1. We were like, we're going to be talking about gaming on this podcast significantly.
We did talk that.
And we've held true to form. We spoke about other things on that podcast as well, I feel like. But
We did.
That was one of the big ones.
Yes, that was one of the highlights.
Gaming and orifices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's particularly my orifices,
And your
which are quite fascinating.
And we're back.
Now for another episode of Rye and his difficulties with orifices. Today we're going to try the mouth out. Oh dear.
Sweet baby Jesus.
On that note, I guess I'm Rhath. I guess we haven't done introductions yet.
Oh,
We
true.
kicked it off early.
I did.
Yep.
G'day, mates. Ray Rhath here.
Yeah.
That's me. Go on.
That was a great introduction,
Thanks
Rhath.
so much.
Well done.
Yeah. Cheers.
I'd like to say emphasis on bloody. Rhath is known for including blood into most of his tracks and ideas. So he will often say bloody as like, a setup, precursor to whatever he's about to say or do.
In my tracks, I'm so dark and mysterious. Well, mysterious? I'm not sure mysterious quite on the nose.
Oh, you're
but
mysterious.
Very mysterious.
I think in life, I'm the sunshine kid.
Yes. Yes. I
To a degree.
I think there's a duality to you. It's like the sunshine kid, but also like the internal vampire as well.
I definitely am not a big fan of the outdoors
Right.
in the
Or
slightest.
people, right? I'm kidding.
Come on, go. Strung up. Ring them out.
Bring him out.
Drink down.
Let him dry.
They're good eating. Who's next to me?
Hi, I'm MQ.
MQ.
I'm really good at
It's
rapping,
the
guys.
best episode so far. Continue.
My name is MQ. It's short for MQ, which are my initials. Some people, I told that to someone the other day, and they were like, "Wait, what?" I was like, EMMKEWQMQ. Did I just blow your mind?
Yes.
You're welcome.
Oh my
You are
goodness.
welcome.
I was thinking that's funny because my name is my initials as well. Rhath was my initials. It's condensed down.
right.
So it's Ryan Hamilton Smith condensed down.
Truth.
Oh, as in you've just sort of.
So,
okay. Yeah.
It's not. Yeah, it's a couple
Yeah,
little extra letters,
R-H-A-T-H.
but it's
TH.
Oh, unbelievable.
Right?
I was like, that's what I thought it was.
Yeah.
And I was trying to work out how or in what way. Fantastic.
There you go.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Do you still hate Robin Hathaway on Instagram? for Rhath and having taken the Instagram
There's also
handle.
some dudes, kind of aware, I think it was like the Philippines or something like that, who's got just Rhath on Instagram, and it bugs the hell out of me because he doesn't post, doesn't do
Yeah.
anything with it.
Yeah.
It's a waste of a tag. So annoying.
It was back in the days of like memes and Twitter and like all those kind of Facebook status forms. One was like, said nobody ever, right? Like, wow, what a fantastic da-da-da, said nobody ever.
yeah,
It was
yeah.
such a like psych type thing. I was like, how good would it be to have a Twitter account called Nobody Ever, and I would just say all of those things on it, and it would be meta. Like, you follow it because you want to see the things that nobody ever has said, and I would just get more and more abstract over time. This account had been created 6 weeks prior with one post that wasn't even remotely close to like that joke. Of course, I messaged him straight away. I was like, the moment is hot. Let me get out of this person. Yo, I'll pay you $50. I wasn't going to pay him $50. I was going to do my RuneScape scam shit, you know? Sign out of the account and give me the password, and then the money will be in your PayPal the next day. I know. I'm a criminal. I'm a gangster. I'm a bad boy. I can't help it. Never responded.
He's got that cyber street cred.
No, absolutely.
So you got
man.
that.
That's absurd.
Ain't nothing but
What an easy
e-thing.
$50,
Hey.
even if he wasn't going to get it.
Yeah, right.
Such a shame.
Absolutely. Who doesn't want $50 for a Twitter account that they created and never used? Nobody ever. If you're hearing it, like, hit me up, man. I promise I might give you $50.
You've already got like 100 tweets ready to go, right?
They're all banked.
Yeah.
I got Hootsuite for it.
You're gonna schedule that shit.
Damn.
It's pre-scheduled.
That's legit.
He did that 3 weeks ago.
Oh, bloody hell.
Now you guys all know who we are again.
Yes, I am. I do have competition online for Dave Dilly.
Oh yeah.
There's a SoundCloud rapper out there called Dave Dilly.
What?
Yeah.
That's insane. That's such a specific name.
I think I've also got one Dave Dilly following me on Instagram as well.
Right.
I think they've got the numbers, but I've got the content, so that's always a frustration.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think that's what wins
Which
out.
matters most.
Is that a question, or are you saying it matters most?
Numbers are king,
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
which I despise. We all despise it.
Which
but
is why
it's
we're also
kind of
depressed,
true.
you know?
Absolutely.
Oh, not I. Never.
Not I.
Depressed.
Never I felt bad about my numbers.
I, the sunshine child. No, never such a blue day.
3 likes are nice.
I was very much chasing it. When I was doing like cartoons for a while. I was like posting 2 cartoons a day, I think.
Powerful.
And checking. It's one of those, going back every second. Like, God, I'm not getting the likes up. It is.
Were
a
you
deep
someone
depression.
who would delete content because it didn't trend quickly enough and then repost?
No.
Okay.
This is.
Yeah.
I think that was my problem. Is that I followed the game, but I
Yeah.
didn't play the actual game.
Yep.
And so my numbers never went up, and so I just had this deep
Yep.
depression and refused to do anything about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a change,
Much the
isn't
same.
it?
You got to be awake for like 24 hours a day to be
Yeah.
able to ride those trends and really make
Yeah.
the most of all that kind of stuff. To have your finger on the pulse. So
Especially like in Australia, like most of the market that we're aiming for is in America or, well, actually India. It's probably actually where we're really trying to hit. I don't know if it's how Instagram goes in India, but YouTube certainly is popping. I don't know if our content really pops up in India, but
There's there's a whole argument there, and especially India is such a prime example of like what is the quality behind the numbers. So you know, if you do a paid promotion and target India on Instagram and you spend $3, you will get 3,000 likes. Like you just will.
Right.
It will, because it's not because there are bots set up. It's because there are people who consume Instagram there, especially who just scroll and double tap. Like I've
Right.
seen this. I've hung out with like Pakistani people. I've been in airports where that's literally how they use Instagram.
Right.
And then, you know, so then like one thing I did when we started out this whole thing was like, okay, where is the market? And then I would get all these likes and I went, they feel empty and hollow because there's no click through to the link, for example. So I started DMing every single one of these people. I was like, hey, thanks for liking our post. That's really cool. Are you into hip hop? And like 1 in 50 would respond, right? So 1 in 50 respond. But then when they do, okay, cool, follow back and all that kind of stuff. But then what they have is they have these profiles that like they'll post a selfie of themselves that's heavily photoshopped. And then will send it to everyone in their contacts list and say, hit the like button for me.
Wow.
So the way that like some rappers, and I've done this, like the way that some people go like, hey, I've got new music out. Can you go and like run up this post, you know? But run it up for selfies. it's like that bizarre level of you are your own product, and you're now like, I can't imagine that there's any pathway. They're not leading them to some mentorship course that they want them to go and click the link in their bio. They're literally just like, I just need the numbers on this to be as high as possible. Please like this. Please like me, is what it feels like.
Jeez.
So they're in these like circles. Oh, massively. So they're in these circles of like no quality click through. And then vice versa. Like I would say the 50 views that we might get on a video or something, well, we know we shared it out through our networks. We know that went to like specific people and that they're watching and sussing it out.
Right.
And most importantly, those numbers will always be higher than the numbers that Vibe Credit Union, a banking institution somewhere in the world, gets compared to us.
Shots fired, challenge declared.
Your
Fucking
faces
bring
with
it.
the first to 100 subs in your face, VCU.
We about to put you in debt. We about to put you in debt. Credit, you got none.
So I would love to get sponsored by those guys.
It would actually be so good.
Great. It's like,
How
scratch
much-
our back, we scratch yours.
How much credit do you think they'd give us?
I don't know how much
Do you think
we're
they'd give us
worth.
like $50? A little meal.
To pay a guy on Twitter. I just really need $50, bank.
You can tell how big business people we are by the numbers we throw around. Oh yeah, $50 would be heaps. That's a bit. It's a bit a day.
We've read so many articles on chasing trends and knowing how the algorithms work, but we just have nothing to our names. It's really...
Well, we've got something to our names. We've got Vibe Union to our names. And it's big.
Yeah.
And there's a story behind it, isn't there?
There is.
We've touched on, this Vibe Union thing, but I feel like we haven't really extracted the origin, and like what was the lead up, the precursor.
Well, we did touch on depression just before, so I felt that was a pretty good precursor
Okay.
It's big
for
you.
me personally.
Yep,
yeah.
yep.
Well, I mean, I guess, if we want to do some of that emo Wayland trap stuff, that might work.
I get it all out in my music. It's fine. We can be a
Okay.
bit more cheery.
So, right, you would say that depression was the main thing that led you into Vibe Union, and you feel like we're some kind of therapeutic unit for you? Is that how you kind of using us at the moment?
I would actually legit say though, a loneliness was a driving force. And I don't think that's at all unique to me. I think it's the most obvious and common issue for artists is you'll try and make art or music or what have you in a tiny little bubble, and you're trying to shout it into a vast void of nothingness.
Right.
And that's real hard to do by yourself.
Absolutely.
You gotta get some boys behind you.
Yeah.
That's all you gotta do. Which
The
is hard.
boys.
It's very
The
difficult to get that organized.
Yeah.
Did you okay, you had a sense of loneliness, you were making music, you knew of some people. When do you feel like you fit into Vibe Union, or Vibe Union fit into you?
I think when you tapped me on the shoulder at Cafe Gummo,
Yeah.
I immediately within that week I saw you a couple of times, and again a very similar situation. Just I think you were on stage at Barusu in Brunswick, and just said, "Hey, any rappers in the crowd?" And I'm like, yeah, me. He's like, cool. And then that was kind of it. And then we happened to be going to the same gig the next day.
Yeah.
And then we saw each other again. We're like, cool.
The Gummo gig was the next day, or
No, Gummo gig was maybe the week prior. It all
Okay.
happened very, very close.
yeah.
But nonetheless, I think there was immediately a sense of they're here for, this is going to sound really wank, but these guys are here for the music,
They're here for the music, dude.
And could see that and was like, cool, all right, these guys, I'll hang out with these guys. That's nice and easy. And also just friendly faces it's daunting. That was because you're supposed to get out there. You're supposed to put yourself out there as an artist and just go. It's like, people ask all the time on forums or what have you and be like, what's the first thing I need to do? It's like, well, it's actually really simple. Is you just go to gigs and just meet people. But that's really, really difficult, especially depending on how you see yourself. And I definitely have grown a lot more confident through Vibe Union. But prior to that, I was definitely the kid in the corner with I'll be sipping on a pint of beer that is big enough so I can hide my face behind it.
Yeah. You were the owl in the night.
Yeah. very much so.
And we heard you hoot. So stupid.
Amazing.
Cool. Did you feel lonely in the scene before you found Vibe Union?
No, fantastic question. I see the jest in it, but yes, in that I didn't feel like the scene. I felt like the scene was quite homogenous, right? And what I wanted to make didn't sound like the stuff that I was hearing. Mm-hmm. I still wanted to make it, and I think what was really exciting for me. Going into Vibe Union, I still feel like I'm at this stage. Like, there's definitely very specific music I want to make. There's certain sounds I want to really play around with, and themes and stuff. But I still feel like I'm learning. Mm-hmm. Like, if someone were to, like, someone I've connected with as a producer and I'm a rapper, and they send me a beat that I would normally be like, well, someone's about to come in with some like real mumble rappy, but 2 octaves up. Like, someone's about to drop some of that shit. I would be inclined, because I know and trust this person, to like try that. I would actually then smack on the auto tune, give it a crack, and just see what comes out.
Right.
And so I feel like I'm in that stage. I've been in that stage. And through 2019 was when it was like, okay, cool. This is serious. Like, I'm a rapper. I'm getting gigs. I'm getting to play some pretty cool stuff. Yeah. I need to take myself seriously and introduce myself as such in every context from now on.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go hang out unless I'm hanging out at a place that music is in some way involved, that I could potentially like leverage that into something. And I think that comes from sort of sales mentality, right? Like, having worked sales for a while, you start to get really good at honing in conversation, and you can do things that don't feel like they're part of the sales transaction, but they're the most effective. So it's like, if I go out somewhere and I'm taking out a bunch of people, some of those people are musos. And then we're in that environment, and what's this? Oh, it's an open mic? Oh, that's kind of crazy. I'm just going to hop up and like do this thing, and like someone's going to whip out Instagram. And and then we're all hanging out, and then that yields talking to one other person who was just in that venue. So in that similar kind of context. But I think by the end of 2019, I was recognizing I'd been amassing and collecting all these different people, all these different musicians, and going, these guys over here are doing this incredible thing. These people here are doing this incredible thing. And I've always prided myself on being a connector. Like, how do I sort of bridge between individuals, between ideas, between languages? And so I saw this opportunity as like, I know all these incredible people. I have access to an awesome house that has different spaces to like put them in. Yeah. I wonder what would happen if all these great people were in the same room at the same time, in the same place over the course of a weekend. So I started by inviting a couple of people. Then like someone would invite someone else, and I would invite a couple more people. And literally got to the point where I was like, how am I, what's my like filtering? I'd like realized I didn't even have a filtering mechanism. It was literally just whoever's coming to mind. So on the last day, I was like, I don't know who I haven't contacted. Like, Instagram, what's up? Like, you should come by this thing, hit me up. And it was just
that's how I found out about it.
Absolutely.
Oh, really? It was a random Instagram story post.
That's it.
Not random, but for me, I guess random.
Absolutely.
It's like, oh yeah, Mash, I've seen him around a few times doing the thing. I believe, we'd been to the compliment rap battles before that. I'd probably seen you at Usu, Gummo, and probably somewhere else as well.
Yeah,
I think.
Around the trappings, for sure. Yeah. Probably at Rubik's a couple times.
Rubik's twice,
And Gummo not so much. Gummo I've only been to like twice, I think, with either of you guys each time.
Because you did a track with Uji.
That's right, yeah.
That's where I remember seeing you there.
Yeah. So that was a lot of fun. But yeah, so for me it wasn't loneliness, though it comes with the same intention. It's about
seeing opportunity, being a node in the network.
To connect different people and pull them all together into the same place and see what happens.
Yeah. Cool. I love that. I see my role as a bit of a mediator, in that sense as well. Like, I go to a lot of gigs just to hang out, just to fucking observe, doing exactly what you were doing. When I tapped you on the shoulder, it's like you've got an interest in the thing and the scene. You want to make stuff, but it's like, okay, how do I fit into this scene? I guess you could come into it with like being detached from it. Maybe that would work, maybe not. But I'm a pretty social person, and I think I'm a better as a team player. I enjoy like getting up on my own, but when it comes to output, quality, all that kind of stuff, for me, Vibe Union was, it was that opportunity to be like, if I had everything at my disposal, in terms of producer, equipment, people, team, what could happen.
Yeah. And I think that's probably one of the things that I've loved the most about this exercise, and I think has very much come from your energy specifically in that, is here's what I've got to offer. What can people do with this? Right? And that mentality right from the outset was just like, hey guys, I know that there's 12 beats that have been sitting untouched here. Here's my verse on it.
Yeah.
And it just sparks stuff. And it's amazing to have that, like, what is it? The all spark in Transformers, right? It's just like the thing that kicks things off.
The initial energy source or whatever.
Absolutely, man. So a phenomenal thing where we each kind of leverage everyone's like initiative. Yeah. And some people's initiative is to do a video. Some people's initiative is to take it in this direction or try this thing.
Right.
And when you have all of that, when everyone is kickstarting in their direction, and we have this overall idea of like, we want to make tracks, we want to make good music. Yeah. Then you've just got this hyper efficient machine of like awesome people doing.
It's so funny you just said machine. I just had this crazy deja vu then that I feel like I've seen this exact same thing.
Wow.
Looking at you, the same. It was wild. I went full Matrix mode for a second, but and then you said machine, and so I guess we're all connected because I was there. Yeah. Woo. Cool. So I guess that really covers a little bit. Yeah, so I love the fact that you were the person who ran the simulation of, get a bunch of people in a room.
See what happens.
Because that resulted really great and really showed the capacity of what we could do. 5 tracks in a couple of days or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And sure, those tracks may have been left behind in a way, but they were, the initial projects, right?
Yeah.
One became a Vibe Union track. One became
Amtha's EP.
Rusty
true. Dust.
But also Rusty Dust. What did that become? What was the name of it?
Get Ahead.
Get Ahead. Yeah. Get Ahead was that day.
Right, that's right. Yeah. So that was the first Vibe Union track then?
That was the first Vibe Union track to ever get made.
But it wasn't released first. It was released...
It was a first,
Vibration number 5.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, bam.
There you go.
Yeah.
Cool.
Phenomenal. But I think that was also around the time when I'd finally begun to make my peace with the fact that you can make tracks and you don't have to release them. You can simply iterate. Like it feels so challenging, but I think one of the coolest projects we've done is when you and I teamed up with FCK and made 2 tracks over the course of like 2 weekends.
Yeah.
And it was very much like, because we met at that gig from night 2, right? Yeah. And we just like, we caught up and we were just like, hey, we all kind of vibe off of each other. Like FCK and I had just heard Chance the Rapper's new album. So we were like, that track, Hot Shower, that's got such a cool beat to it. Yep. Let's do something like that, kind of weirdly braggadocious. So then we just were like, you're right. Like chuck together a beat like this. Let's put it together.
The morning of,
yeah. And it was unbelievable. It was crazy. Like it blew my mind because that was, my first experience of encountering your process. But those are 2 demos that, I hope at some point we just play around and get them finished. But even if we never do, I'm not going to die unhappy. The actual process of doing that, 1, allowed us to see each other's working, like operating rhythm. But 2, like it is exercise. Like you're not going to regret the push-ups you've done. You're not going to regret the 5K run that you did. Like I've done neither of those in a long time, but
it's a touchy subject for all of us. But let's keep going.
I don't think I've ever done a push-up.
Jeez, you can't say that on camera, man. Gotta save some face. Cool. Well, we're back at it. Full Addicts of the Vibe Union podcast situation. Just a friendly reminder that we are available on Spotify, iTunes, all of the platforms that could be, would be, should be. So feel free to subscribe, follow along, show us a love, show us cares.
Please like and comment and rate. Do we get ratings?
On iTunes, it's very important to put ratings because it does help boost us in the listings. So that'd be really good if people could just, even if it's like a negative comment, you can put a negative comment, but just give it a high rating.
Absolutely.
That's preferable.
That would be that would actually be great. Yeah. Because chances are, fickle as the 3 of us are, we won't actually just... If it's got 1 star, we're not even going to read it. We're just going to dismiss it.
Exactly.
We're going to appeal it before... Yeah, you might.
I would read it, but it's content.
Sure.
If you want to... no, 1
we're
star...
trying to discourage the 1 star.
Really?
What I'm saying is I would read every 5-star review.
Yes. And even if they were telling you that you were a pungent fanny, you'd be like...
Yeah.
Damn fair comment.
Yep, absolutely. That is a 5-star comment. That would be my response. That's it.
I'd be satisfied with that. Anyway.
So,
Should actually be
especially trolls, engage with our shit.
Yes. Yes. Rate highly and flame harder, I would say.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah. All right, let's bring it back to the vibe union. All
Bring it
right, so
back.
I've got a little prompt for both of you, and then obviously myself, if you want to throw it back in my face. But
I'll try.
Mash, what do you feel like some of the highlights of Vibe Union? You can pick one or two. Like, what do you feel like's been a strong highlight moment for you?
I think one of the biggest ones has been getting artists who I know are fantastic, of whom I've never heard a track, to get involved in Vibe Union. So that's Jason, that's Miriam, that's Mikado.
Yeah.
Like 3 people whom I know are talented lyricists to like put something down.
Yeah.
That is what I wanted to have happen. And especially someone like Jason. Like I've been amazed by his capacity, because he's a poet, he's a lyricist, he does all of that stuff. But he has very much operated in isolation. And so for him to turn around and go, yeah, you know what? Not only am I okay to do this, not only have I been invited to, but actually I'm going to like grant myself some permission to do this in this way and go about it. And it's been amazing to kind of watch that growth in people who are kind of newer, I guess, to this process. But then seeing that at that level, and then I see it in each of us. Each and every member has just gone, what can I do that's entirely new for me, and push myself further in that direction. So my highlight, I did the MQ thing and I went really abstract as fuck, but
perfect.
But that is my highlight.
You're a man to give opportunities to others, you know. I feel like, you know, you have a sense of what is just in the world, and, you know, you want to give the platform to the people who have the capacity to make something of it. And yeah, you know, if you don't encourage the people who have the potential to do great things, then they might, you know, because, you know, it's one thing. No, it's not one thing, but yeah, Jason has the capacity to be like a boom bap rapper.
Yeah.
But I guess he wasn't. He was doing, you know, spoken word poetry. And if you didn't give him a little nudge and a little, not a mic, but a metaphoric mic, then yeah, I mean, the exact things happened to me. If people didn't encourage me when they could see the potential, then I would have just not done it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Right. Highlight
is probably being called Rhath in casual conversation.
After I called you Wraith for so long.
I'm happy for that to catch on as well. I'm happy to be an enigma who has multiple personalities and and aliases.
Yeah. Cool. So when the name stuck, when people called you as your artist name.
I mean, it's a joke. I am joking right now in terms of it being a highlight.
No,
kind of. It's a bit of an egotistical thing in a sense, but at the same time, it does feel like such a recognition of like, this is the thing that I'm doing.
Yeah.
So that's really fucking cool. But no, the real highlight, I think, is being surrounded by people I definitely would have never associated with. That sounds like I think I'm above everybody. Rather,
as you are.
Rather that, I guess it's a very storybook kind of lesson of like, don't judge a book by its cover. But you know, it's not so much that I would not associate with these people, but I wouldn't expect to be talking to these people.
Right.
And that is kind of based on appearance. And also I wouldn't expect them to be talking to me either. Actually, I don't feel like Connor would mind me even bringing him up as a great example of like me and him staying next to each other could not look further apart from one another in terms of of our body types and the focus that have gone into that. Because Connor is jacked. Connor puts in the work and he looks incredible.
Yes, he
does.
As I've already
and you
mentioned,
look incredible effortlessly.
Yeah, well, yeah. There's a certain boyish charm to me. But as I've already said on this podcast, I've never done a push up in my bloody life. I don't know. I don't know the meaning of the word.
But there's the overlap there.
Yeah, the overlap. The music bringing these people together has. It sounds really cheesy, but yeah, that's 100% like such a liberating experience to be amongst these people working on a common goal and just feeling very human, just feeling very accepted for who I am. That actually does tie into being called Rhath as well. I think that's just a general acceptance of who I am and a knowledge of who I am as well. I feel like everyone actually does know the real me through just because you don't have to pretend to be anything.
It's Rhath before Rye for some people.
Exactly, which is a weird thing for me, but it's fun. Yeah,
for me it was Wraith before Rye.
Then you got hit with the wrath.
I'll never forget the time that you corrected me, and I felt so bad.
Oh, really?
Was it 4 months into knowing each other?
It would have been a little while.
It was a little bit, and I'd said Wraith so many times.
You've said it on stage.
On stage, introducing everyone. Welcome, Wraith.
You know, I did that also at another Gummo bar where I was meant to introduce complex, but I said context.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I got the crowd riled up and everything, like being context.
Yeah.
Like the back and forth, and then like he slowly comes up. He's like, "It's complex." I'm like, you want me to do that again?
Oh no.
That's amazing.
So I think that problem lies with me there.
He's
I'm
such
glad-
a nice dude, though. He took that and worked with it. I love that guy.
He did. He knows how to work it.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I'm glad that you got the validation and acknowledgement that you deserve.
Absolutely.
Because you've been an absolute driving force, a powerhouse, a workhorse.
Well, that's another thing. Actually, is given the environment to be that person. Because I knew I had that work ethic. And this maybe sounds like a brag, but it's more just like a personality type rather than actual like, I can work so hard. It's like, but it's a trade-off of other things like inherent social skills, perhaps.
But you're doing well. You're learning.
I'm getting better. I think being around people like MQ and yourself, both very social creatures, and that actually has legitimately helped me learn a lot of social skills.
It takes a lot of throwing yourself into embarrassing moments to be semi-comfortable with it.
Yeah. But Vibe Union, as you've said, like you give them a platform, give people a platform, and they're like, oh, cool. Well, I can be a rapper now. I'm a poet, but I'm going to be a rapper now. Let's see how that goes. And because you've given such a framework, it's like, cool. They feel free to do it.
Right.
And I feel very much the same. That like my natural state is to take on a bunch of shit and just put my head down and work and do this thing. And it's both grueling, but also like that's where I am. That's where I fit. So I really dig that place.
Nice.
Amazing.
Don't load more onto me though. Like there is a limit. There is another echelon.
I had 4 EPs to get mixed.
Oh fuck yeah! All right, let's try.
We nearly broke him a few times.
I mean, I'm living off Centrelink. I don't. I'm happy. This is
a lot of pressure.
Yeah, this is a good way to do.
But Dilly, what about you, man? What have been some highlights of being a part of Vibe Union for you?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously there's countless. There's many of them, but one of them probably would be the Cypher day that we had. So I guess we shot 2 ciphers on this one day at, what was the name of that nice cafe? Kebabs on Sydney Road. And for me, it was not just that day, but it was like the lead up. We're organizing 6 people to do 2 cipher videos. We've got, 2 camera people, there's, other people who want to just be part of the set and stage. And it seemed like the biggest thing we'd organized for tracks in a place at that time. Yeah. And we were let out for, such a brief period of time during that COVID break. But for me, it was like the anticipation, the leading up to it. Like I've watched, hundreds of cypher videos, and it's, I mean, you'd be pretty silly to not think that a lot of it rides on you on the day. There's obviously a lot of practice and preparation that goes into it. And then, us running the takes until we all feel like we've got that, that take. And it was great. Like I hadn't really, I think that was the second time that like Mariam had been with us, second time that Axel had been with us. Second time that Jason had been with us, hung out with Jason. Mutha was there on set. Jack, video guy. Who's awesome. You two, have you done the music? Have you finished the music video?
Still working on under construction. Cool. Yeah.
All right.
We're waiting.
Eyes open.
So soon we'll have 150 cap at gyms. So then we can be like, let's have a party.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert: the last bit of the music video.
It's a party. It's a
party.
Yeah.
We're here.
realize, like, based on the theme, you can never release that music video. It always has
Right,
to,
it always
has
has
to be
to.
in progress.
Well, the list of songs I have that fit that theme are then stacking up because another one's called Level Up, and then so
Yeah.
every like few months I revisit it, get another take on it, and it's just like, yeah, that leveled up. Still can't release it though.
Yeah.
Oh dear. But
Yikes.
those ciphers for me, it really kind of solidified a whole lot of work that we'd done. It was exciting for us to hang out, before, during, after the ciphers. We got to like kind of like run a show for a day. I found it like nerve-wracking, but really exciting.
Yeah.
I thought that, it was the fastest I'd heard Rhath rap before.
Yeah, I think it was the fastest I've ever rapped.
Yeah.
To this day.
So that was huge. There were like cool moments. I thought Axel bought so much steez. Mm-hmm. Mariam continued to stand up to the mic,
Yeah.
Can I take a little sidebar for a second
Please.
and have someone explain the word steez to me?
Style meets ease.
Yeah, I would say that's a great interpretation.
Beautiful. Thank you.
But is there another one?
It's kind of like, I guess it's how you carry yourself. I guess it's in the same realm of swagger.
Yeah.
But I think steez is more low key than swag, right?
Okay.
I feel like that's maybe...
Yeah. And it describes Axel really well. I would say Axel is more steezy than swaggy.
Right.
Yeah.
Swag is very showy. Yeah.
It's a bit more showy and over the top. Steez is like under the radar, fucking super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
Thanks so
That would probably be I'm glad I was able to clarify. I'm glad you were able to support on the interpretation and clarification.
Witness.
Witness, footnote, headlines. Anyway, so that's probably key standout, like us coming together, making the stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I think what's exciting is that there's so much more of that to come. I think, even looking back to the first weekend and we created these tracks, not necessarily with an intention to release. They're fantastic. I can't wait till we can every now and then just go back and hear them again. Like
Right.
Cheese Salami blows my mind.
Oof.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Trap Country.
Yeah.
What?
Who would have thought?
So,
Yeah.
those things, perhaps more than end products, they serve as like a proof of concept.
Yeah.
And so I think what's exciting is that we've had all these proofs of concept through this time. Are we human beings who are able to get along with one another? Do we speak more or less the same musical language?
We ran the simulation.
We ran the simulation on any number of things like generating video content, on doing social media and all that kind of stuff. So we've got this stuff down in this almost like this hyperbaric time chamber out of DBZ sort of thing where it's like it kind of had no consequence on the outside world is a little bit what it feels like.
The stakes were low, but we were still high level of investment.
Yeah. And it was very concentrated. And now that we're kind of getting out of this time chamber, I feel like we're about to walk into a landscape that either there's some people that have been working incredibly hard in silence.
Yeah.
Or knowing the types of people that there are, silence I've interpreted from a lot of people to just mean I give up. I'm done with this. I'm quiet because I'm not doing anything.
It could be a towel throw, and they may not call it in that moment, but 8 months later, when they haven't done anything, they might be like, you know what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sorry, so what I was saying was we're about to walk out into a landscape where the playing field has shifted. The people who were so consistent and so on it in terms of all of the stuff that relied on being out and networking and linking and venues and stuff, they've dropped off.
Yeah.
And now you've got a scene of people who are ready to create, ready for something fresh, something different.
Yeah.
We're about to walk into that with all of this readiness. We've done our push-ups. We've been running our 5Ks.
Yeah.
Right.
And I feel like we're on the cusp of this. And I think, I guess what I'm really curious to know is, what are some of the intentions and ideas that I guess we kind of all have looking ahead? What are some dream goals?
Yeah, well, you're looking me directly in the eye, so I imagine I'm more than happy to go
please,
first.
please, yeah.
So my intentions, my dreams, my goals for future Vibe Union is performing and presenting as like a united front together on stage. Still, dabbling in the world of doing our own thing, but being together and doing like this Vibe Union set. We're sure we've each got like a snippet of our own thing.
Yeah.
But we're able to create anthems or bigger moments through the collective work.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's about utilizing the kind of platform building that we've done, create this platform that, again, is not about subsuming the individual, right?
Yeah.
So Dilly Dave gets up and does a Dilly Dave track
Yeah.
as part of Vibe Union.
Yeah,
set.
I don't have to now be Vibe Union and not be Dilly Dave.
Yeah, spot on.
Yeah, which
That's cool.
is great. Like you want that flexibility, because you know I guess the reality with these kind of groups is you could maybe think that it's going to last for 10 years, but say for example it lasts for a few years. If after that you don't feel like not time wasted, but you don't feel like you've lost a part of you through this thing that didn't go the mile, the track, didn't run the distance.
Yeah.
You've still you've still been doing your thing at the same time, and
Absolutely.
no one's like expecting you to bend your will or your ideas. At the end of the day, it's kind of like just that platform to do it. And we've worked so hard on doing. Yeah, you're right. Like the 5 push-ups a day, the 10 push-ups a day, whatever that like little bit of quantity each day it is to like chip away at the foundation. And the foundation is 20 tracks. It's a podcast. It's 30 artists. Or however many collaborating over so much time who are so fucking excited to get out there and start ripping it. Right. Let's talk intentions.
Intentions from day one for me has been, ever since I was a small boy, I said I wanted to be a rock star. And
Want to be a rock star.
I feel like Vibe Union. I'm totally riffing. I have no fucking plan where this is going.
Is the spacecraft.
Improvisation.
Basically, like, not only have we seen the breakdown of a lot of people, the
mental breakdown. Kidding.
Well, I mean, kind of. I'm not really thinking of any particular artist or anything like that.
Right.
But we've seen a breakdown of the industry. We've seen a breakdown of individuals, and of no fault of their own either. I'm not either saying that like, oh, everyone should be working their asses off during this time, because I again, talking about my personality type, this worked for me, but I'm count myself very lucky in that sense. But I feel like we saw the foundations, or what we thought the foundations were of the industry, just completely don't exist. They're always just relying on these like stilts that were wobbling and toppling and ready to fall, and they did. And for a long time, I've always thought, I've had this idea in my mind that every artist complains about the industry. We all complain and whinge about the industry because it doesn't work for us, and it's hard, and it's cutthroat, and it's all about competition. It's
Mission Impossible.
And I never enjoyed any of that. I never liked that idea. I always shied away from it. And so I always had this thought of like, well, can't I just build my own little mini sector of the industry? If I can just do all the things, which is really in this day and age, especially because you don't need a printing press to put vinyl out or CDs. Yeah. You just need enough space to record, maybe a couple of venues under your wing that you can go and perform at, and a place to upload, which we already have through the internet. So build your own little sector of the industry. And this year for us has been, as we've just been saying, doing the push-ups, running the tests, running the simulations, see what we can do. And for me, I saw there was no aspect of the music industry that we couldn't just tackle on a smaller scale and do ourselves.
Absolutely.
And so my intention for sure in the next couple of years is to just say, fuck it, we're going to do all of it. We're going to build our own little mini empire, and the foundation is that ability to survive on your own.
We survived in the desert, and now we're going to the what's the biblical term for the found place, the destination,
the oasis.
The oasis.
Oasis is like a midway point, like a salvation in the middle of
right. What would be
the promised land?
The promised land.
Promised land's great.
Promised
Perfect.
land.
That's looking. We survived in the desert. We're about to step into the promised land.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, perhaps
really
build
like
a promised land for
the
the few who manage to trek it through the desert.
I'm gonna build a promised land for my people.
Vibe Union Vibration 21 right here.
But
Promised
really,
land.
like we're a group of people who definitely saw things weren't. You said at the start, going out to these gigs, you saw that things weren't working the way that you wanted to work.
Yeah.
So you just started to build your own way of doing it.
Exactly right.
And I think your Fringe show is another example of that. It's like you have all these people, this pool of talent at your disposal, and basically you just have to put out the call and say, hey, I've got a project, let's start to do it. And all these things that at a lower level seems like such a peak to reach, you know, to actually put on a full production like what you've done.
Yep.
But it's just people. It's all it is just people on the ground willing to do the work.
Absolutely.
And we have that now.
Yeah.
And that's incredible. That's such a relief off the shoulder, take it off the shoulders, the weight off the shoulders.
Well said. It does feel like a weight off. Yeah.
Massively. Something that like I used to describe Vibe Union in another chat recently with someone was our key strength as a collective is that our individual strengths overlap into other individuals' like weaknesses. So I know for a fact I'm not a producer. I can sit with a MIDI keyboard for 14 hours and it's still going to sound like Jerry's human music.
I feel similar to that way as well.
But you produce Just a Game and that shit's a banger.
But it's almost, I don't know, maybe you feel like the same, right? But some shit just seems to be like an accident, It's like,
100%. Every track I've made is, as far as I'm concerned, an accident.
Okay, well, maybe we're all producers then.
Maybe we're all producers. But in this idea that, we overlap each other's weaknesses with our individual strengths. And I think that that's what's super exciting. And I guess, coming back to that idea of like, it is all just people. And I think that has always been the idea from day one. Like, I have this much knowledge and ego tells me that it's a lot. And the inner child tells me that I know sweet fuck all.
Yeah.
But there is only one remedy to either of those two scenarios. Go and challenge that idea. Right? So my ego then goes, all right, go and be the best rapper in Melbourne. But the only way I can know that is if I know every rapper in Melbourne. Go and meet these people. Oh shit, I really like this.
That's the right mentality to have. Honestly, I don't think people have that mentality if they want to be the best rapper. They're not actually looking for the other best rappers because they'd prefer to live in a vacuum where they are the only good rapper or whatever. But that's stupid.
Absolutely. And hopefully this year has helped people recognize that like artificial isolation, that thing, that ego game, that trick that we play on ourselves to say, I think I know all the rappers in Melbourne. You're putting yourself inside a bubble, right? That's isolation. Those are the same people that then complain that there's a 5K limit on their travel.
Right.
Why? Well, because now they're externally validated in the fact that they're living in a bubble. And so if you found yourself really struggling with this bubble idea for 5Ks, now I really encourage you to like reperceive if you've got internal mental bubbles that you don't even realize what the boundaries are. And they're probably in terms of how you engage with other artists, how you engage with other people's music. I know for a fact I struggle to give validation and kudos to people doing things incredibly well, but not in the way that I would do them. Right? So if there's people who I think have a real street urchin kind of vibe, or are like too big on the like fighting, them's fighting words type thing. Like I see these people and they pop up and they're walking around just talking about fucking this, blah, 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 this and that. Like there's just a way to kind of approach life that I wholly disagree with. I feel like there's a better way, but I see them crushing it in their domain because that is a vernacular and that is a whole world and lifestyle that some people really bump and resonate with.
Right.
And they're being authentically themselves. So I really need to challenge myself. And I always check myself as I'm doing it. I'm like, I'll swipe down on a story or something sometimes just because I'm like, why is this person doing well?
Yeah.
It's such a silly thing. And then I just go, right, what's actually bugging me is that this guy's being deeply authentically himself or herself. And people are vibing to that.
Getting some love for it.
And I feel like I'm doing that, but maybe I'm not doing it well enough because then why am I paying attention to someone else's thing?
Yeah.
But also maybe it's not your time to get the round of applause or the pat on the back or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Expectations in terms of what we deserve can be ultimately quite difficult.
Absolutely.
Problematic,
I realized I went off topic a little bit there, but thinking about sort of intentions, it is very much in keeping with what you've just said. I started this project as kind of an island. I think that's what we've all kind of said. The two of us, especially, Dilly, I know that you were sort of more connected. You've got some really cool people you've been hanging out with for quite a while, and that's been cool.
Yeah. Honestly,
Do you resonate with this island idea, though? That like you kind of felt like you were a free-floating mote of dust in this sandstorm of Melbourne hip hop.
For me, I mean, this is a massive conversation, but I felt like there was heaps and heaps of people doing a whole lot of different things in different ways. I felt like my best chance at getting through, in some capacity was by like knowing and playing with good players.
Yeah.
So, like, I identified all of you as, like, good players. But I'll tell you what, there's a lot of good players out there. But for me, like, a lot of it's, it's like, can I personally work with you? Like, you know, we're
so
friends.
vital.
We get along. There's like a lot of shared ground knowledge that we can navigate on. But I didn't feel. I've made so many fucking friends and connections in the Melbourne hip hop scene.
Yeah.
Like, I love so many people from it. I could like spend a whole episode talking about like 100 people that I think like could, should, would get it.
Yeah.
You know. But at the end of the day, we're here with Vibe Union, and that's what fucking matters.
Absolutely. And so in terms of intention is how do we grow that? How do we go from, you know, as islands, we sort of drifted into one another. And I fucking love that my brain for the last 10 minutes has been playing a video loop of orbits, planets in orbit, because Rhath's upcoming incredible album. Orbits. We've been kind of floating around and gravitating and attracting towards one another.
Yeah.
And now we've kind of coalesced as this solar system.
We're on the
and now
radar.
that solar system is a mode of dust in a sandstorm.
Yeah.
But our collective pulling power to bring in more has increased.
Yeah.
So I think for me, I'm still going to be doing, like, in as much as I'm steering a part of Vibe Union, my intention is to just do what I've been doing before. Say hey and what up to every person, every opportunity.
Right.
Because it yields some stuff that's just excitement, proof of concept, and it might fall through. Some stuff that is like, might as well be set in stone.
Yeah.
And I think most excitingly is that like conscious incompetence stuff, right? There's a level to which, like,
I don't know if that was a shout out for me, but
oh, no, sorry.
no, I'm incompetent. Incontinent.
Oh, right.
I'm like,
good catch.
Yeah.
I really, sorry, just because it's so good. I fucking love this idea of there are 4 stages to learning. Unconscious incompetence. You don't know what you don't know.
Yep.
Conscious incompetence. No, sorry. Conscious incompetence.
Yep.
Conscious competence.
Yeah.
You're good at it now. And unconscious competence.
Yeah.
Mastery, you can do it in your sleep.
Yeah.
And I love those. So anyway, conscious incompetence is where I think you should try to strive to stay in for as long as you can.
Forever learning.
Forever learning. You know what you don't know and you aim for it.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we're at. And I feel so excited by it. We keep talking about EP. We keep talking about can't wait till we can do gigs.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's so exciting because then when we start doing them, that immediately opens up how we can do that better.
Yeah.
For me, intention is purely continue to learn.
Yeah.
Because the growth seems to be happening with every day and everything that we learn.
I love it. And I think, you know, it's important to bring to the table that, like, this was never about us three in the first place. It was about, like, making good just, you know, collaborating, networking, providing opportunities, getting creative, getting juices flowing where they can be, wherever it is. And just getting stuff out, you know, like imbuing meaning on the go. But it's not, you know, it's not like I always wanted to be a part of Vibe Union, so I could only hear my voice on shit.
Right.
Yeah. God dang. Well,
yeah.
Look, I don't. I hate being the timekeeper. Like, you know, we've been talking about
Isn't
Dragon
that your
Ball Z.
job?
I
Don't you
know,
the MC?
but you know, the
Master of clocks.
time is of the essence. I've communed and conveyed with the Time Lords, and they are signaling an end to this. This is episode 7, right? Or 8? Is it 7?
Who remembers?
I think. Anyway, regardless of what it is, it's been real.
It's been really nice.
I'm glad that we finally got to record this in person.
Yes.
I'm glad that only half of our gear gave out. So unfortunately, you can't see our beautiful faces this time.
And we all put on makeup for this too.
I know.
Yeah,
I actually
I know.
got a suit and tie up.
Yeah, I did
Me
blackface.
too. It's probably easier for you getting away with that.
Linger in the air.
Yeah, if I said that, there would have been a
Yeah.
bullet that come through the window or something. No.
Yeah.
But that's fine. You know, I think that's why, you know, we like having MQ on board. I mean, I'm kidding.
It's good. We're a very diverse collective of
So many
musicians.
racial
It's
jokes
so
that
diverse.
I want to tell that I can't tell that you have to. Anyway, look,
Wait till the mic's off, mate.
Can't end
Next
there.
episode is going to be a spicy one.
So spicy. All right, so you know you can catch Vibe Union on the Spotify, on all of the platforms, this, that, and the other. We're going to be going back to the weekly podcast. Yeah, we took one or 2 weeks off.
Yeah.
Mixtape later in the year. Next year.
week. Why not?
Next week.
No, yeah, let's say it late this year.
Yeah. Think about it as a Christmas present, whether it comes on Christmas or not. It's probably going to be in that vein.
It's coming.
vein.
It's coming.
MQ, Rhath, It's been fucking good chatting with you guys again.
As always.
Delightful.
As always, boys.